Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking about WWE Smackdown from Friday. CM Punk's much beefier second promo now that he's back with the company, and he had a lot. It's Festivus season, so he had a lot to get off his chest.
Well, it was basically his mission statement. Why he's there.
What he wants to do. Airing of grievances, and maybe tonight on Raw. We'll get a feat of strength.
Feats of strength, indeed.
That's right. We're also going to talk about AEW Collision, where Bryan Danielson took his first L. Find out who he took it to. It was Andrade.
It's Andrade. He took the L from Andrade.
I just said
Andrade,
it.
Yeah, Steve.
I just said it.
Spoiled it right then.
Spoiler alert, in case you were waiting for that one. So, yeah, we're going to talk about all that stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into. Oh, by the way, we talked about this very briefly off camera. Looks like this weekend we're going to be doing our annual holiday party.
Correct.
We have no idea what it's going to entail. Not a clue.
Not
yet. But we're going to do it because of the holiday season. It's Festivus time, and I don't know, maybe we'll have an airing of, too. Yeah, maybe we'll have an airing of grievances. Maybe we'll have feats of strength. I don't know.
Excuse me. Tea always goes down the wrong pipe, man. Excuse me. I'm here trying to hold a sneeze.
Is that a Festivus feature?
I guess so. But hey, at least I'm still number one dad.
Oh, gosh darn you.
I know that stings you.
Man, it hurts. It burns. I'll tell you what. Anyways, so let's go ahead and dive into it, man. So CM Punk showed up on the Smackdown tribute to the troops. And not only did he drop a none too subtle reference to what led to his dismissal at AEW, getting into physical shenanigans backstage. He also, as you said, laid out his mission statement. He wants the main event of WrestleMania, which makes a lot of sense because, as a lot of people know, that was like one of his sticking points back before he left the company. He was like, hey, I should be a main eventer.
He's like, all I've given this company, I had the title for like more than a year. I want WrestleMania main event. When he came back, the narrative was that it was all a kind of a last minute deal. I believe it was Fightful that said the Raw after Survivor Series had already been written by the time they agreed to terms, so they kind of had to shoehorn his bit in, which might explain why it was relatively brief. Mm-hmm. Not to mention that he had time cut because of the Orton Dom Mysterio match.
Yeah,
and as he said here in his promo, kicking off the second hour. Nobody's cutting my time this time, and it's interesting because yes, he made the his goal known. I want to main event WrestleMania. Of course, there's also somebody else that wants to main event WrestleMania, and that's Steve's favorite person in the universe. That's Cody F. and Rhodes.
Right, correct, yeah.
So collision
really the
course
guy who's
there
entitled to it. To be honest with you,
not just deserves, entitled.
Right, entitled, like it should be in stone. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You don't write his name there in pencil. It's in pen. Yeah. It's engraved on whatever that you're doing. Yes.
Chiseled.
It's there. Chiseled, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But the interesting way, this promo also feeds into Seth Rollins' point that CM Punk is a hypocrite, though, because another one of CM Punk's beasts before he left initially in 2014 was, it's like, why aren't I or Daniel Bryan getting the main event of WrestleMania? People have been here for years, and especially in the case of Daniel Bryan, the most popular wrestler in the company. Instead, they got Batista, who CM Punk's friends with, so it was obvious no shot at Dave, is getting brought in to take the main event spot from someone who's been there full time and deserves it.
Right.
Now we have CM Punk showing up back in WWE after not being there for a decade, saying, I want a shot at the WrestleMania main event. Well, Seth can point to that and be like, 10 years ago you said this. Now you want to take a spot from someone here who's been here for 10 years, who's worked their ass off for this company that deserves to be in that spot, and you think just because you're CM Punk, you can have this spot now?
The thing that I loved, there was a couple things that I really loved about the promo. Number one, the fact that he openly admitted that his presence disrupts the plans of others, and specifically Cody. I mean, he said, I want to finish my story. That's Cody's thing. And then later on, Cody was like, so I noticed out there you want to finish your story, and I got to finish my story. So I love that aspect of it, that this is a CM Punk who's back, and they understand that he obviously can't be the same CM Punk as before, who sort of that's why CM Punk seemingly should have been such a good fit, or at least was at the beginning, with AEW, because AEW was sort of the alternative to the stale WWE. Well, it's a different landscape a couple years later now, and it's not stale WWE anymore. People really like it. And so he can't be the counterculture of WWE. He could be the spoiler. He could be, hey, I'm back to finish my story, and that was to main event the largest stage of them all, and I don't care whose story I have to interrupt to do so. The other thing that I loved about it, that I think has been that was so effective from the moment of his return, or I should say a couple minutes afterwards, when Seth Rollins was pitching a fit ringside, is the crowd wants to see Punk Rollins. Every time Rollins shows up, there's CM Punk chants. Now with Punk here, they started singing his song. What a beautiful, what a great result for the setup that they did with Rollins railing against. I mean, you can go back even before Rollins figured out that Punk was going to be there in the Nick Houseman interview, saying he's a cancer, he's this, he's that. And then when it got closer, Punk did show up, and they did this big thing. Now Rollins is saying publicly that he didn't know until the music hit. Sean Ross Sapp reported that they did know. I kind of feel like they probably did know that he probably did.
We talked about
know.
that. We talked when we were talking about Seth. The interview was, Seth said this. It's been reported this. People are going to believe what they want to believe.
Right.
But yeah, they've going back to how they seemingly are building this feud. You got Punk coming in, not just, as Seth could say, you're a hypocrite, but feeds into Seth's claims that Punk is being selfish.
Yeah.
Punk says he's willing to derail all of these stories, all of these goals from people who have been there. In the case of Cody, a couple of years, but everybody else, years. Just to achieve his own goals. As Seth can point to that, selfish.
Yeah.
Hypocrite.
Yeah.
Again, it's a story where fans can get behind Punk if they want, because he's there to finish his story. He didn't get it. He wants his WrestleMania main event. Punk fans probably want to see him get that. And then you got people who are like, Seth's making some good points.
Yeah,
he's been here. Seth has been like number one advocate for WWE for years.
Yeah,
and sometimes there'd be conventions, people would ask him questions at these conventions about like how things are happening backstage. He would like go off on them like, well, you're not there, you don't know.
Yeah, right.
Like they're not like they're like there's no transparency involved. Anyways, he hasn't really done that of late, so which is good. Or gone off on people on social media. He used to do that too. For asking like relatively benign questions,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But anyways, he's been like number one WWE cheerleader. Seth Rollins has. And CM Punk has talked a lot of trash about the company.
As recently as like 6 months ago, it's not.
And for him, Punk again to come in, it's all good. Love this place.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's gotta stick in Seth's craw.
Another element that I really like about his promo and sort of why he's there wasn't stated explicitly, but it's in line with, it's sort of like, Vince after he bought WCW polling the crowd, who should I bring in? Booker T, thumbs up. Booker T, thumbs down.
Oh yeah.
Buff Bagwell, thumbs up. Bagwell, thumbs down. Big Papa Pump, thumbs up. Well, Punk was not really polling the audience, but asking him, where do you guys think I should go? Which, and then he would name names. Kevin Owens, we might be a little too alike. We might end up not being able to coexist. LA Knight, Randy Orton, we've got a lot of history. Roman Reigns talks about him. And then, of course, then he got to Seth Rollins. But it does sort of also illustrate what his presence in WWE is. He left in 2014 which was right before the wave of guys from New Japan, of, AJ Styles, of, Owens, Zayn, a lot of names before the ascension of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. They debuted as part of CM Punk's story back then, but they didn't, the breakup didn't happen until he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the tribal chief thing has been 3 years now, and a lot's happened since then. There's a lot of dream feuds waiting, even all the way down the card, like a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura, who's a firm mid-carder. I'd love to see that. I think that'd be awesome. That could be a feud going into a pay-per-view at some point. There's a lot of good matchups there that I think, and a lot of really great promos that I think CM Punk, a lot of people would love to see, and he's sort of acknowledging that with this promo.
Yeah, I think so too. Now the question is, Cody last year was positioned at WrestleMania to finish his story, came up short. With that in mind, is Phil going to get to finish his story this year? Is he going to actually get to main event either night of WrestleMania or no?
I don't think you do it this year.
Nope,
of course you don't do it this year. It's Rollins. I mean, the fact that the crowd really just wants Rollins, I think that's the match you do. And I don't know where that lands. Maybe that does land in the main event of night one. It makes me think that they're not really banking on Stone Cold versus CM Punk for WrestleMania. And I'll be honest with you, CM Punk is a guy that's there right now, and I know a lot of people are going to want that match if it's available. And maybe WWE would think, oh, that's the money match. I think you put CM Punk in there with the guys that can go now, because I'd rather see the match, the in-ring match between Rollins and Punk, and it's now. And I get the feeling that Triple H would probably rather want to go with the guys that are relevant now with him.
Yeah.
Unless there's an overwhelming money reason why he wouldn't do
Here's
that.
the number one reason you do it this year. You're probably paying CM Punk a good amount of money. You don't know if a year from now he's even going to be there.
That's true.
So if you want to strike while the iron's hot,
you
do it now.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you do it now. From a storyline perspective, just like we saw with Cody, you wait.
Yeah.
You wait. You take your time. If he just shows up in the span of 5 months, 4 months, finishes his story, then what's next for him?
It's sort of like the Cody thing last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So no, I don't think you do that. I think maybe he could be, adversity for Cody Rhodes. Now Cody has to deal with this, and on top of that, if look, people want to see Cody finish his fucking story.
Yeah.
And if Punk gets in the way, if Punk skips ahead of line, that's going to draw some resentment from the fans. I think maybe not, maybe they'll pop for it and who cares, but you would think that, people don't like when they see their wrestlers just sort of be handed stuff. I still firmly believe that Cody is more over now than he would have been if he won at WrestleMania. It was a shocking moment, but if you look at Cody ever since then, being able to go back to that well of, I need to finish my story, people are on board with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what would happen if he didn't even finish it this year, if they pushed even further. At a certain point, that they might be like, come on, man, finish your damn story. We want to move on.
I know.
But no, I like that. Let's talk about this really quick. Another element.
Let me bring up one more point about this real quick.
Please.
If we have Seth versus Drew at the Rumble, and obviously we're about a month and change from that, and they really start angling in, focusing on Punk Seth as the probable Mania matchup. And then if Punk doesn't win the Rumble, Seth drops the World Heavyweight Championship to Drew, and Punk be like, all right, I lost the Rumble. My next surest shot at getting the main event of Night 1 of Mania was taking on Seth. He lost the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And he can kind of take out some of his frustrations on Seth for not holding up his end of the deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That could be something there too.
No, I definitely think so. I don't know exactly how Drew fits in to everything, if they're going to want to do the title. I mean, the problem with the title is, I don't know. You want to see how much Punk is going to comply with things, because I kind of feel like Rollins can't do, he can't be taken, he can't be too like the gatekeeper who just takes L's to the big high profile guys coming in.
If the story is, well, it's one of two ways. If it is Seth Punk at Mania, the story is number one WWE cheerleader Seth Rollins taking on possible hypocrite, selfish a-hole CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of two ways. Either Seth has to win that match,
mm-hmm.
or Punk wins, and then Seth's like, you know what, Phil? You love this place all along. And they shake hands.
Dude, I think that I think that Punk will be fine with a win or a loss. I think you've had main event Jey Uso. Again, guys are irrelevant now. Taking the clean L to Seth. I don't know. Punk comes in and beats him immediately at WrestleMania. I just don't know that you do that. You got to say, hey, Punk, we're going to bring you in. We're going to pay you a lot of money. But we're not. This ain't going to be AEW where we're going to give you every single win in the book. We just can't do that with you.
Yeah.
There are guys who have been here for a long time who are more of a future than he is, like Seth Rollins. Now, here's the thing, though, as Maggie says, thank you, Steve. Seth has to make sure that he's selling that back, Larson.
Yeah.
He's got to sell the back because he doesn't sell the back enough.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
No. Let's talk about this really quick. Also, he did drop the line about Kevin Owens and working with the guy who goes around punching people backstage. It's 2023, folks. You can't do that. It didn't draw like a huge or gasp or crap. They did start chanting his name a couple seconds afterwards.
Well, I wonder if there was just a pause there because he was like kind of laughing about it because he popped himself with that line. And people are like, oh, are we supposed to react? CM Punk.
So I saw a lot of takes about this online. People saying, oh, see, Twitter's not real life. Fightful, nobody reads that. Nobody knows about the AEW stuff. Or AEW's not relevant enough for them to have a big reaction to it. I think I know where I stand, but before I divulge that, I want to know what's your take on the kind of semi-non-reaction to that line.
Do I have to have an opinion? Could I not really care about it?
I mean, I'm just sort of curious what you have to say.
No, like... I saw that discourse before I actually got a chance to watch Smackdown, so I didn't get to experience the non-reaction to a degree without seeing the reaction to the non-reaction first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
You know, like a lot of things on social media, people take things overboard.
Yeah, right.
With their takes. He got a non-reaction. I'm like, all right, well, look at it. AEW's ratings for Collision is 800,000, maybe 400,000 or 500,000. Sorry, 800,000 for Dynamite, 400,000 or 500,000 for Collision. SmackDown gets upwards of 2 million per week. Not everybody in that audience pays attention to AEW. I just think that's, if you look at the math, that's probably accurate.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, and like, it's our job to pay attention to all the little backstage happenings and whatnot.
Not so little though. The reason he got fired from AEW. And
I know. I'm
WWE.
saying, but we are like you and I are hyper focused on that stuff because that's our job. And I think a lot of people who are very vocal on social media about wrestling stuff, likewise, hyper focused on not just what we see in front of cameras, what happens behind the cameras. But I don't know if that's the case for wrestling fans writ large. Like, what percentage of wrestling fans are as hyper focused on the backstage minutia as they are just what they see? Some people just watch wrestling because they want to see what's on the television and don't really give a shit what happens otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was one of those situations where, like, he makes a reference to happen in AEW. It didn't get the reaction maybe he thought or people on internet thought. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, he got his little jab in. Seemed like it felt good for him to do it. Got a little chuckle out of it. And like, whatever reaction there is beyond that, like, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not going to affect how I view AEW or WWE in relation to one another.
Yeah, I was more just curious about like why there was a non-reaction, and you just spoke to it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes just some jokes don't land.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like I because I think that you're right. Like, not everybody pays attention to the minutia, but I think I think if you pulled that crowd, maybe it's also a different crowd. It's a tribute to the Troops crowd, but at the same time, they were all chanting "fuck you, Dom." So I'm like, okay, so they're aware of at least WWE's product, and they know who to cheer for.
There was a good portion of the crowd on Friday that was military service men and women.
Yeah, and I think those are comped, but then Sean said something about on Twitter about how like it was the highest grossing whatever in that market, and I'm like,
they always
if they're comping a bunch of tickets, how does that factor into it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe the government paid for it.
Historically, draw well in Providence. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. Either the joke didn't really land. I kind of feel. I wonder if it's a matter of like, people don't really give a shit and they just want to move. I suspect most people in that crowd probably know why he was fired from AEW. It was like a big deal.
Yeah,
if you pay at all attention to wrestling. But like, so I feel like they probably do know. I kind of feel like people are just there to see CM Punk get it on in the WWE.
Yeah,
it was a jab that didn't really land.
No, and like the setup for it was a little clunky.
But like, it's so silly to me. People saying, "Well, AEW is so irrelevant that they wouldn't know what he's talking about." I don't really think that's. I just don't think that's the case.
Again, people taking things overboard.
I know it's silly.
It is.
But not only even my reaction was like, "Oh, that's cute." I don't know that I'd been like,
okay,
"Oh, dang!"
I know. I was like, "Oh, I get it.
I get it."
But it wasn't like, "Oh man, mic drop." Oh gosh, got him good.
But the crowd did start a CM Punk chant afterwards, so
because there was a pause there. What else are they gonna do? Pick their nose? I don't know.
A concession. I mean, it's like, a wrestling crowd, so
there's
probably.
A pause there. He's laughing. He's pleased with himself.
Yeah, right.
He's like, "Oh, that was good. I impressed myself with that line." So
we got to help him out here.
If there's a lull in a promo, people got to do something. Oh, CM Punk's here. Yay, CM Punk.
I
don't know.
CM Punk. Yeah.
It was all a little awkward, but whatever.
Yeah. Did you see any of his promo with the Heartbreak Kid on talk about awkward?
Yeah, I saw little bits and pieces of it.
And I don't even think it was awkward in a bad way.
No.
It was Shawn Michaels forgot what he was supposed to say. They had like a scripted
he said as much, basically.
Thing.
Yeah.
And he said, "I forget." He was just focused on the fact that Punk had a Bret Hart hoodie on.
I know.
And that threw Punk off, but again, kind of in a funny way because he laughed about it. He was like, "I didn't even think about that." He was like, "But you guys made amends. I made amends with Triple H, but everybody wants to know where am I going to go?" And then they just sort of played his music. They played him out of there, and he just laughed about it. I thought it was a pretty entertaining and pretty silly and heartfelt moment between them. It does seem like CM Punk's in a good headspace for now, which should make for some
there. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Let's go ahead and get some of these super chats here. Yeah. First up from Aaron Drew. Says, I could see Triple H booking a Mania 20 type ending where both big baby faces finish their stories in the main event of Mania, Punk and Cody, like Benoit and Eddie. Remains to be seen. Maybe that's the case. I kind of feel like they need to give the night one main event to the women, though. I really do.
Yeah. That's why if they're going to do Punk and Seth, and it's not going to main event, then Seth should drop the title.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Will Chisholm here. Super chat says, when the last time WWE men and women's been this top heavy and the fans loved it? That is probably
since the Attitude Era.
Like the story of 2023 really is just the turnaround for WWE's creative and the fan. Like you can it's subjective whether is it good or not. The fans are responding to it in a major way.
Yeah.
So that's good. Mr. Dope here with super chat.
It was corny as F.
Is he talking about? Well, what's he talking about there?
Maybe the NXT one?
Oh, maybe the NXT one? Yeah, it could be. Or the Bret Hart hoodie? Is that what he's talking about, the Bret Hart hoodie?
Maybe.
High Plains Drifter. He's going to start explaining in the chat, too, even though I'm just trolling him. High Plains Drifter here. Remember, for 21 months, says CM Punk and Cody both win Royal Rumble, going over simultaneously Fatal 4-Way for the belts. Cody stacks everyone. Huge child reaction.
Cody. Would they do that? Would they do the Brett Luger finish to the Rumble?
No, well, yeah. If they do, there's precedent for that. So what they do is one of them, I guess, like Punk takes on
Roman first, but then Cody would have to have another match first.
Meanwhile,
as well, so both of them have one match. The winner of Punk Roman faces the winner. Faces Cody in the main event. Yeah.
Cody takes on his brother because that's what Brett did.
Yes.
At Mania 10. It has to be somebody takes on a sibling.
Yes.
There you go. That went.
There it
that
is.
works. That definitely works. So yeah. Before we continue on with our SmackDown recap, now that we're 25 minutes deep into the show, talking about Punk Daily. Here we go, Larson. We're gonna talk some CM Punk earlier today. We just talked about CM Punk earlier.
What rhymes with earlier?
Schmerlier.
Not a real word.
Not an actual word. So yeah, that was That was Punk Daily theme. Thanks to the Rob Zerver for dropping that amazing theme.
It's a good song.
It's a completely original, not an homage of anything.
No, brand new,
original, just like the Friendo Club setup. Let's talk about that, Larson. So
let's do it.
You guys by the way, so here's the deal. We got bonus episodes, and we don't drop them weekly, but that's our plan for 2024. We've got sort of a new way of doing things, and so we're going to be re-debuting after being away for probably 8 years, Friendocast.
Yeah.
Which is a thing we did for a little period of time. And that's going to be our bonus episode every single week. It's going to be completely non-real. You love Steven Larson, but you don't love the wrestling? Hey, guess what? $5 a month.
We got something for you.
We got Friendocast for you. That's coming up shortly. So we got bonus episodes, question threads, and of course access to our huge predictions challenge, which we do every single month. It's a lot of fun. Currently, the predictions champion here in the Friendo Club is Patrick Sparks. Let me see if I can get this Patrick Sparks picture up here.
Yeah, where's Graham?
Look at that. There's Graham. So Patrick Sparks, you get whatever picture you want as long as it's appropriate, as long as we show it on the show.
Yeah.
And Graham here he's a nonfiction character, apparently. He's not a real person.
Well, you said nonfiction character. So it'd be fictional character if it's not a real person.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. He's a fictional character. Yeah, fiction means fake. He's a kayfabe character. Apparently, it's what a person looks like if they had evolved
to withstand a car accident.
Right, yeah. Which this is still, I don't know if this guy can withstand walking around. Look at him. Anyways, Patrick Sparks wanted this picture. He wanted Big Blue on this picture. So he obliged, Patrick Sparks. Transitional champion, we'll see. Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see if his reign is more Bruno Sammartino or, I don't know, Iron Sheik. He was kind of a transitional champion. Backlund didn't want to drop the title to an interesting guy. He was like, no, this title should only be on a boring character like me, Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
So,
also,
that's if you go to patreon.com/Steven Larson or click join on the YouTube, that gets you there as well.
Also, we're on our way. We're very close to getting 198,891 subscribers. Look at this. We're only 84 away right now.
What? I have not checked this today.
Where 84 away. We've made such huge strides over the last 2 or 3 weeks. All thanks to the awesome friendos out there. Terrific. We're so close.
Terrific.
We want to try to get there by the end of the year. That gives us exactly 20 days from today.
Yeah.
Today is December 11th.
Yeah.
31 days in the month. And if we get there, if we achieve that goal, if we get 84 more subs before the end of the year, we're going to do a 12-hour live stream to celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you haven't, please consider hitting that subscribe button, that notify bell, so you're aware, you're made aware whenever we have new content up. We got at least 5 new shows every week.
Yeah.
Also, while you're hitting things, hit that like button. We're at 112 likes right now, but we got almost 700 people watching.
We've got almost 700 people watching. That, on one hand, that's awesome. On the other hand, it should be criminal to have so many people watching and so few likes. 100 and what? 130 something?
113. Not even 130.
Not even 130. 113.
130.
What a dumb number. Listen, y'all need to hit that like button. There's almost 700 people watching there. We should have almost 700 likes. What's the deal? At the least,
we should
probably
have
more.
About 350. Yeah,
come on. What's going on here?
So please smash that like button.
It's almost 2024. It's almost our 10-year anniversary of doing this. It's almost our 15-year anniversary of working together. I can't forget that sunny day in July of 2009, driving down, about to hit L.A., Larson gets on the horn with me. Back then, I had one of those giant cell phone, like the big, like
brick,
Zach
the Nokia brick ones, right?
Saved by the Bell cell phones. He calls me up.
Attached to the rest of your car.
Right, exactly. It had a little wire going to my car.
Yeah.
Powered by a car battery.
Yeah.
And he was like, come down. And then I was like, 10-4, good buddy. I'll come through Machinima offices and do your voice.
Sure thing, Rubber Ducky. Yeah.
Rubber Ducky was done right then, man. That's when Friendo Club became a thing. So 15 years anniversary of me and Larson working together.
That's wild.
You know what? 2024 is actually probably our 30-year anniversary of knowing each other, because I was a junior and you were a senior.
Yeah.
And that was like 1994 right there.
1994, 95.
A lot of big anniversaries coming up in the 2024, man.
Who'd have thought that 2024 was going to be such an important year?
Right? And then, of course, 2027, aliens showing up.
Can't wait.
Can't wait for that one.
Can't wait. See, we're up to 164 likes. I guess that's good.
Better.
Not as much as I like, but the flip side of that is that we're down to 681 people watching. So,
I mean, that's still almost 700.
50%.
Yeah.
We're still about 180 likes away from getting that. So,
all right. Well, yeah. So do all of what we said, including clicking that join on the. We got a bunch of pages. We're going to dive into the SmackDown recap here in just a second. I know you guys are like, itching to hear our thoughts about it. I did want to shout out our latest patrons though: Jalen Hamlet, Zach Z, J&A's. Although I think J&A's canceled as well. So goodbye, J&A's. Stephen Logan, Dakota Ham, Joshua Salazar, Paul Conrath, which is a great name, Damon LFC, and then Amon McGee. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it. And then, of course, Wrestling Wriggle here re-upped his membership for 11 months. Says, hit the like button, smash it. Great content. Subscribe. Thanks. And then we did get confirmation from Dope earlier when he said it's corny as F. He says, I'm talking about Punk. And then he says, bleep you, lol. Strong words from Mr. Dope here at Going In Raw. Anyways, so SmackDown kicked off with, what is this? So it was a tribute to the troops. So they did a bunch of troops.
Yeah. So the show opened with the war and the treaty singing God Bless America.
They did a good job. Do you know who sang the national anthem at WrestleMania 1, Larson? Here's a little bit of impromptu trivia for you. Given that Wrestling Quiz Challenge is coming back this week on Friendo Club.
I know. Gosh, that'd be something for a Wrestling Quiz Challenge. Who sang all the God Bless Americas at all the WrestleManias?
Oofta. Ouch.
I don't remember, man. It's been a long week. I'm tired.
It was Mean Gene. Out of all the celebrities they had there, they got funny. Mean Gene.
That's great.
He did a decent job, too. Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee kicked off the wrestling element of SmackDown. And, of course, this is a rematch from that last pay-per-view there.
Yeah.
And this is good stuff. Dominic Mysterio came down to ringside. Of course, he was facing Dragon Lee at this weekend's NXT deadline. Lost the title. I kind of suspect Dom's going to get that shit back, though, right?
That's what history has indicated.
He was pissed off after the fact that Judgment Day didn't get his back at ringside. Wouldn't surprise me to see.
Isn't that what happened when he lost to Trick, too? Judgment Day wasn't there?
Oh, man. I want to say yes, but wasn't Rhea there? Rhea wasn't there for that one?
I don't think Rhea was there.
Yeah, maybe. That dude needs to make sure. He needs to get on the horn of Judgment Day and be like, hey, okay, so who's going to be there?
It's like, I'm not defending this title unless all the Judgment Days there. Are they not there? Sorry, Heartbreak.
Like number one contender match instead. How about that? So anyways, Dom, let's see here. So Lee hits Dragon Lee hits a German suplex on Santos. Santos responds with a super kick. Lee kicks out of that. Santos looks for a Phantom Driver, but Lee counters with a roll-up, gets two. Lee hits a float-over powerbomb. Santos kicks out of that. Lee hits a running knee, which sends Santos to the floor in front of Dom. Lee puts Santos back in the ring and then gets in Dom's face. Lee then kicks Santos, goes up top, but then Santos sweeps out his feet. And so Lee ended up falling dick first on that top turnbuckle.
Yeah.
And then that allows Santos to hit a Phantom Driver to get the win. Afterwards, Dom gets in the ring as Lee sells the Phantom Driver, holds that North American title over him, then leaves the ring. Oofta, he lost that at deadline.
Yeah, he did. Then we got a recap of Randall Keith Orton signing with SmackDown. Then Nick Aldis sitting in his office. Randall Keith Orton enters and hands Aldis a check. Says, there's something I want to talk to you about. Found out today after getting the venue that you got me teaming with LA Knight against Jimmy and Solo. Why? And Aldis says, I saw LA Knight make the save last week. And Orton's like, hold on, no save. I don't need saving. I didn't know who LA Knight was until last week, and now you got me teaming with the guy. I gotta trust this guy. I just found out who he was last week. And Aldis says, I understand. You don't know LA Knight. All you need to know is that you want the bloodline, and he wants the bloodline, and I want to see that match. I can't wait. And he looks down at the check that Orton gave him. And he goes, Randy, the fine was for $50,000. This check's made out for $100,000. Orton says, oh, that's for next time. And then he leaves.
Man, he's got credit In RKO.
RKO credit.
He's got RKO credit. I wonder if it's anything like the WWE red card.
Well, here's the thing, though. If Orton's already calling a shot, I'm going to RKO you again.
Yeah.
Who's to say there's not a multiplier on those fines with each subsequent RKO?
Oh,
even
so
with the 50,000 extra there, I'll just be like, all right, that's two of them now. That's $100,000.
Does he think that?
You.
Yeah, he's like, oh, they all just cost 50,000.
There could be a multiplier associated with each RKO violation of hitting them on the GM of SmackDown.
Not sure what the fine economics situation is, but one guy who might know is Cody Rhodes. He doesn't often hit crossroads on authority figures because he's a good guy. He says, so Providence, what do you want to talk about? He says, I know what we should talk about tonight. It's a special night, which is why I was asked to be here. It gets very serious. Tribute to the troops. I'm very proud of being part of this team carrying on this tradition. It's our 21st year. Of course, JBL was doing commentary, too, because he apparently came up with the idea for Tribute to the Troops.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
He says, on behalf of all of us at the Dabba-da-Dabba-da-E, we'd like to say thanks to our servicemen and women in attendance here and tonight, of course, for all those watching at home around the world. Let's take a look at the history of this great tradition. They do a whole video recap of Tribute to the Troops. Then back to Cody. He's like, he says, thank you for your service. He says, but before I go, it's my privilege to do one more thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Fort Myer, Virginia, the U.S. Army Drill Team. Drill Team walks the stage, does their thing. Brad Nessler of CBS Sports joins commentary because they're going to do he's talking about the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, that was on Saturday.
It's like their Survivor Series, brand versus brand, basically.
Kind of, yeah. I guess that's the way of looking at it. And then we have Bobby Lashley taking on Karrion Kross. So Lashley was in the Army before becoming pro wrestler, so he had a promo talking about Tribute to Troops. Said Tribute to Troops hold a special place in my heart. My father served in the Army for 26 years. I then followed in his footsteps into the Army and learned and developed discipline and respect and what it truly means to fight for something bigger than yourself. To all the troops, thank you for your service and God bless America. So then before Kross makes his entrance, Montez has a promo. Former Marine Montez Ford says, what's up, WWE Universe? This is Montez Ford, one half of the illustrious Street Profits, and I was in the U.S. Marine Corps from 2008 to 2012. I joined right after high school, and I'm so glad and honored to serve this great country and to use every single thing the service has taught me to give you the man, WWE superstar you see today. I want to say thank you to the troops. God bless everyone, and happy holidays.
I don't know if Lashley ever saw it at like any action or anything, but like if he did, do you think they played his theme music before he went in there? It's like, oh, we've got some bad guys.
His theme music's a relatively recent addition to his packaging. You have to go back in time.
Oh, yeah.
To get the timpani drums.
Boom, wouldn't that be something though? Like the bad guys, right? They're like in their bunker or whatever they do. And then you hear ba-da-da. Oh no! Oh god! Lashley shows up like it's Rambo 3.
Hurt lock, spear.
Oh man! So anyways,
something else.
We gotta clear out this area.
There's fighting going on in the battlefield. You hear those timpani drums. Boom, boom. Fighting stops. It's quiet. Yeah. Everybody's waiting for the.
Oh no! Oh god! Let's get out of here.
And the U.S. side cheers. Yeah, Lashley.
So anyways, he's taking on Karrion Kross. I don't know what they're doing with this Karrion Kross guy, but man, that entrance is awesome. And this guy just loves to take them L's.
Yeah, I don't know either. It wasn't like there's a story set up where Lashley's going to be changed after this match. Like, you could, at least Kross can make the case with all his other L's.
Yeah.
Like, AJ's kind of estranged from the rest of the OC, and other people he's lost to. Nakamura turned heel after beating Kross.
Yeah.
I don't see anything about Lashley changing.
Yeah, Lashley.
Fans are still going to love him because he's awesome.
People are still going to love Lashley. Man, he's in phenomenal shape. Yeah. Lashley needs to be the guy to dethrone Roman. Oh, my God.
Heck yeah.
That'd be great.
I'd be on board with that. Heck yeah.
Absolutely. Anyways, Lashley gets the win here over Karrion Kross with a spear. Street Profits join Lashley on the stage to celebrate. And then WWE on Fox social media decides to create a whirlwind by tweeting out a picture of them and say, "Dem boys." Anyways, maybe we'll talk about that on Friendo Club Wrestling or something, Larson.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or on news. I think we're doing a news brief later on today. Maybe we'll talk about it then.
There's a lot to get through to decide what's going to make the cut for news brief. Otherwise, it's going to be a whole other podcast length show.
I know, right? Yeah, we're going to have to Speed run like 5 stories.
I guess
So after that, backstage, oh, God. Your Stacker 2 awkward segment of the night. Asuka's backstage with Damage Control. Bailey walks in. Everybody hates her. Bailey's like, hey, look, I wanted to apologize for last week. After you guys got ejected, I knew Kyrie needed some help. So I obviously learned my lesson, and I'm going to volunteer that I stay back here tonight. But I also think it's a good idea that we all do, because this is a WrestleMania rematch. Charlotte versus Asuka. Hey, Charlotte's not ready for you, right, Asuka? And she's like, ugh. She's like, you got this. And Io responds in Japanese. Dakota says, look, Bailey, that's a really good idea. You should totally hang back here. But I think we're all going to be ringside for Asuka because of Charlotte. We don't know what she's capable of, but we got it. Don't worry. Let's all go, everybody. And Bailey's like, well, fucking A, man. You know, I'm the only one around here trying. So, fine. I'll stay backstage. Didn't actually happen that way, though.
Nope, it didn't. Then we got CM Punk came out for a promo. Says, I've got good news, ladies and gentlemen. It's top of the 9 o'clock hour, and that means I'm not at the end of the show. I'm not getting my time cut. So if you want to chant, go ahead and chant. So the crowd obliges. CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. You take a pause during a promo, the crowd's going to get involved. That's how it is.
Yeah, you know, they don't want to sit there. It's just awkward silence with everybody.
Yeah, start picking their nose or whatever. So he continues.
You
guys
picking the nose today.
I don't know. I mean, it's popped in my head, I suppose.
There you go. Scratch their butt. What about that one?
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he continues. You guys understand that Adam Pearce is trying to sign me to Raw, right? I think they were a little bit louder on Raw, don't you? No, because then they're like, oh, no, we're louder. Yay.
Oh, we're being too quiet. Oh, gosh.
Too quiet. Yay.
Probably the acoustics in the building, asshole.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of factors involved. Maybe there's a smaller building, Phil. Come on.
Right.
He says, ask the question of the hour. I'm getting CM Punk now that you're back at WWE. Where are you going to sign? He says, I feel fortunate I get to take this journey with y'all because I'm partly going to leave it up to you. So do you want me to sign with Monday Night Raw? Or do you want me to sign to SmackDown?
This is the stupidest thing in the world because they're not like they're different. But like what Raw comes to town, these same people, if they will like WWE product, they're gonna go to Raw.
I know.
What do they care? You know, it's like
deal.
Oh, I don't watch TV on Fridays, or I'll only watch TV on Fridays but not Mondays.
Anyways, he says, do you want me to throw 29 other superstars over the top rope and then climb this turnbuckle and point and sign and main event WrestleMania? He says, as an old friend of mine who welcomed me back with open arms famously likes to come out and say, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm famous for talking. It's kind of what I do. But I've also been listening. I hear there's a few people that are upset. They don't like the happy-go-lucky CM Punk. They don't like the CM Punk that says, hey, I love you guys. I'm home. I'm glad to be home. So I listen, and I hear, and I understand that. So it allows me to turn this up to 11. So allow me to turn this up to 11. Sorry. Allow me to be that spicy CM Punk you know and love. Allow me to get comfortable at home. This is me putting my feet up on the couch. My feet got a lot of mud all over. So it's not what you want to talk about. It's who do you want to talk about? Do you want me to talk about Cody Rhodes? I can tell you some stories. Or you may talk about someone who's not here. By the sound of it, someone who's never here. Roman Reigns. Hey, I acknowledge you. Congratulations on your success. Don't forget who the OG Paul Heyman guy is. Don't forget that he was my wise man first. Now, Roman might not be here now, but his cousins are. Solo, big, tough son of a gun that I don't know, but I'm familiar with his cousin, Jimmy Uso. By the way, shout out to main event Jey Uso, who's over on Raw. I see you, Uso. These are the things I have to wrestle with. Do I want to go to Raw and hang out with Jimmy Uso or Jey Uso? I want to stay here on SmackDown and scrap with him, Jim Uso.
Does he want to go to those other guys?
Other guys? Does he want to go to NXT? Probably not. See, he continues, but if I scrap with Jimmy Uso, holy gosh, he's got a lot of cousins. I'm talking like endless Samoans. So if I scrap with him, I'm going to need backup. They're in tag team action tonight. Can I trust a guy who I have history with, who hears voices in his head? Can I tag with Randall Keith Orton? One guy I'm pretty positive would tag with me is Randy's partner tonight, and his name is L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, someone said Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens would be interesting, right? Can I tag with Kevin Owens? Maybe I could fight Kevin Owens. Let's pump the brakes on that one for a second. Kevin's a little bit prickly. I mean to say he and I are probably too much alike, and I don't know who would feel comfortable working with somebody who randomly just punches people in the face backstage. I mean, it's 2023. You can't just be doing stuff like that. That's insane.
Cricket sounds. I don't know. Can you make
Bobby
a
Fish
can you make a decent
asked, where's the
cricket
lie?
sound?
Yeah, I can't do it. The chirping cricket.
I can't make
sound,
a cricket chirp. Yeah, I can't. I don't even know how they do
I
that.
know how to do that.
They have weird mouths, I guess.
Well, they rub their legs against their body. That's how they do it.
Oh, is that how? That's
what I heard.
With their weird tongue and teeth, they're not doing that.
No,
they're just
it's not like them trying to whistle, Steve. No.
Oh yeah, but then everybody started chanting CM Punk. I'll pick it up from here, man. He says,
"Sure,
everyone's happy to CM Punk, even Jabel over there at the commentary. Jabel loves me. JBL. He says everyone's welcoming back with open arms, except for that one guy.
For that one
guy. And then they start going, whoa. And he said, there's always that one bad apple that spoils the bunch. Am I right? Hey. He said, but I'm not going to put any stock in anything he has to say. And it's not because of his whiny voice. It's because he's not even the man in his old household.
Oh, well, that's a low blow, Phil.
It is, man. A little busting balls there. Crowd breaks out into Seth's theme. And he's like, all he's got is that song. Keep it up. He's like, he also never sells his back. He says, we're having fun here, and I'm so glad to be back on home on this journey with y'all. Why do they call it Ovaltine? He says, we're going to find out exactly where I sign on Monday. I'm here to listen to y'all. I'm here to listen to Nick Aldis. Over the weekend, I've got a call scheduled with Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels to talk to him about NXT. And on Monday, I'm going to talk to Adam Pearce. And I promise you I'll make my decision then, almost 10 years to the day, in the same town I walked out of this place in. All the men that I've mentioned today have one glaring, painful thing in common, and that's CM Punk is back, and I'm the monkey wrench in their future plans and their future goals. Everybody wants to talk about finishing their story. I'm back to finish what I started, and Monday night I put pen to paper and begin my journey of finishing my story, and that means one thing, main eventing WrestleMania.
I just thought of something. What if Adam Pearce, as a means to entice CM Punk to sign to Raw, says, I'll give you Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
I mean, that'd be one way to do it. You want to finish your story? Sign this, and it says main event night one.
And then when Seth loses against Drew McIntyre at the Rumble and costs CM Punk his main event spot, Punk would be like, oh, you asshole. Oh, ooh, now I'm really coming after you.
Oh, yeah. That could be. Wouldn't he come after, like, Adam Pearce?
No, because the deal was to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
He's like, you fooled me, Adam Pearce.
Pearce, you got me.
Now I'm in the opener at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I'm in the kickoff show against Seth Rollins.
I know. I'm in the Andre Battle Royal on WrestleMania Smackdown.
Oh no! I'm going to throw 29 men over the rope at the Andre Battle Royal. So, anyways, after we're back from commercial, he's walking around backstage. A lot of Phil in this SmackDown. He stops in front of the Bloodlines locker room. Is like, should I knock? No, I'm not going to do that. Then he walks away. Right into Kevin Owens, and he says, "Have you seen Nick Aldis' locker room?" Kevin goes, nope. It's like, okay. Thanks for your help. KO says, you're welcome. And as he's walking back, you see Kevin Owens train. He looked at his broken hand because he was like, oh, should I just punch this guy outright? That'd be kind of fun. But no, he doesn't. And then he keeps on while he looks back at Punk. Considers maybe punching him in the back of the head, but he doesn't.
After that, we had Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Early on, of course, Io and Kyrie joined Asuka ringside, but then Zelina Vega, Mia Yim come out to the ramp to attack them during their entrance, and they start making the way, Io and Kyrie, up the ramp to try to escape. They're met there by Bianca and Shotzi, and they all end up brawling backstage. Plays in the finish because Bayley again makes her presence known to help Asuka gets the win. Looks like Charlotte was hurt during this match, during that moonsault to the floor.
Well, so apparently there was on social media they had this, but I guess it happened during the commercial break. Charlotte and Asuka were on the top turnbuckle, and they were going to do some move off there, and there was a nasty spill, and that's when we came back from commercial, and they were just there, and that might have been when it was, as opposed to
I saw some mention on Twitter that actually she landed the moonsault. She kind of gets up and favors one leg a little bit.
Okay.
And maybe, but who knows?
Maybe they went straight from one to the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
That moonsault, it looks great. I'm not a fan of the moonsault to this. I don't care who's doing it. That shit always freaks me out.
Yeah.
But me,
you worry about something like that when you, from that height, you land down on your feet with all, all your weight plus momentum from doing the flip off the top rope. Yeah.
Plus the awkwardness of somebody being there and accounting for them, like sort of bracing your fall a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's a professional. I guess she's done it a million times, and this is one time when maybe that went wrong, or maybe it was the spill. I don't know.
Yeah, or a combination thereof. Who knows?
It seemed like, she was really doing her damnedest to finish this match, and she was able to do that Asuka hit the roll up after, as you said, Bayley comes down and acts as a bit of a distraction. Charlotte ends up knocking Bayley off the apron, and then that allows Asuka to roll her up to get the win. Afterwards, there was some footage of Charlotte really. The cameras didn't catch it for the TV broadcast.
Yeah.
So you got to figure that maybe it was legit. She was, saying, "Oh, my knee," and I know there was a report coming out. Maybe you know where it was from. Forget exactly myself, but that there was some concern that it might be a serious deal for Charlotte.
Yeah, I saw that floating around on social media as well.
DJ E says, good thing Steve didn't see Kalani Jordan at Deadline. I did, and I didn't like that either because she damn near busted her head on the announce table doing one of those.
Yeah, it's tough in NXT with that announce table so close to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like it's super duper close. After that match, Punk and Aldis are inside Aldis's office. Aldis hands Punk a contract, said, "Hey, look it over. We'll talk about it later." He leaves. So Cody steps in and says, I heard what you said out there. Sounds like for you to finish your story, you need to win the Royal Rumble. That's interesting. And Punk just goes, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah.
And Cody extends his hand and says, "It's good to have you back, old friend."
I'm trying to remember. There was like a minor bit of overlap between Punk and Cody in AEW, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's a bit. Yeah.
It was when Cody...
It's from August to the end of the year.
Oh, was the end of the year? Was all okay? Did they interact at all on TV?
4 or 5 months. I don't.
Did they
think
interact at all? I don't think. I think that was like Cody was firmly on Cody Island. I think at the time. I think so. Anyways, so after that we had Randy Orton warming up backstage. LA Knight walks up to him, and then Punk walks up too, wishes him good luck, and then leaves. And Orton says, "Are you ready for tonight?" Yeah. He really, honestly. Don't you think that LA Knight should be behaving more like those machinimated shorts where he just walks around just screaming "yeah" backstage all over the place?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I agree.
Those things are great.
Yeah, they are.
Then we got our main event. Solo Sikoa, who has boots now, had boots. Wasn't wrestling barefoot. Boots and kick pads, they look like.
Oh, okay. I did not notice that. Okay. Well,
and him, Jim Uso, taking on LA Knight. Yeah. Randall Keith Orton. LA Knight, Randy not working well together. Randy tagged himself in. LA Knight not happy about it. It's pretty straightforward stuff. But then Jimmy and Solo were doing that too. Neither team were exactly on the same page.
Yeah, no, Jimmy is sort of, his general demeanor is like antithetical to,
what Solo's all about. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like being on the same page. So, yeah, both kind of a mess. And in the end, that sort of caught up with him. So Solo misses a hip attack. Knight reaches out to tag Orton. Solo brings him to the corner. Knight hits him with a bulldog. Is able to tag in Orton. Jimmy in as well. Orton goes on a run, hits Jimmy with a power slam, looks for a draping DDT, but Jimmy pulls him out of the ring. Orton hits him with a belly to back on the announce table, follows with a draping DDT, calls for an RKO, but Solo clobbers him from behind, gets him with some strikes, calls for a spike. Knight hits him with a BFT. Jimmy looks for a super kick to Knight. He catches it. Looks for a BFT. Orton snatches Jimmy away for an RKO to get the win instead. And afterwards, Knight and Orton, they were fine. They were cool. Knight was like, all right, that's fine. Shake a hand. And Orton, is Orton just sort of on a, let's get the young stars like LA Knight over.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, you love to see it, though. It's funny, too, because Orton was sitting down after the RKO, after the win, and to turn around and look at Knight, his neck is so thick, he had to do the Batman one thing, you know?
Yeah, like he had the cowl on, yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so anyways, that's your SmackDown recap.
That was your SmackDown. On to Collision. The
Continental Classic continues.
Dominates.
Intrigue.
It does. We had a couple really, really good bouts. Had Eddie versus Claudio.
Yeah, that was
which was great. I mean, the story was literally Eddie fighting back from underneath to come back and get a win, which is going to be his story the rest of the way for the Continental Classic. It was his story for the whole tournament encapsulated in one match.
Eddie has needed motivation. It's seemingly he's like, oh man, I put these titles up. Probably bad move because now I'm screwed. And he needs a motivation. Well, he can't think of better motivation than the guy that he hates more than anything, and that's Claudio. And so he was able to finally get on the board with the win over Claudio.
Yeah, then, of course, Bryan Danielson. Man.
Yeah.
Another fantastic bout, this time against Andrade. where, he does this every now and again where people know his injury history. And so he kind of exploits people's concerns about his well-being to tell stories in the ring. And this time, Andrade just went right after his surgically repaired orbital bone.
Yeah.
Busts him open right over that eye.
Yeah.
And just continually goes after it and after it and after it and after it. The ref almost stopped the match at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't. Andrade gets the win. Danielson takes his first loss in this Continental Classic.
Yeah, and they did it with Andrade as a good guy because afterwards he was checking on him and everything. But the towards the finish, Andrade was like just giving him everything, and Brian was just completely out. He was completely out, and it's great because even like Nigel was screaming for them to call off the match, but Nigel hates Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
But then even Kevin Kelly was like, "Yeah, no, they should probably. You're right, actually, Nigel. They should probably call this because he's just getting his." Like, he's not even defending himself.
Yeah. Nigel had a great line that says, well, Danielson seems like things are finally clicking for him. His elbows are clicking. His knees are clicking.
No, he had a better one. It was, oh, my God, he's being brutalized right now. He already wasn't the most attractive person. His wife can't be happy because he's about to look like John Merrick.
Yeah.
Like an Elephant Man reference? Really, Nigel? That's going to go over everybody's head, but it was brilliant. He looks like good. John Merrick.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
Nigel is he's a treasure. He's great.
Oh, that's so good. We also had Ethan Page taking on Kenny Omega. Good match.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Strong showing for Ethan Page. But more or less, it was Continental Classic focused. Even if it wasn't particularly the matches that took place, you had promos from Swerve, you had promos from Mox. They have a huge match at Winners coming on Dynamite. Both sitting at 9 points at the top of their league in this tournament. Both made the case why they should be one to get the win and probably more or less take firm control of their particular block.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a wrestling-focused episode of Collision. Some good matches.
Yeah. Those intros are getting sleepier and sleepier, though.
Oh, I know.
What's his face? Kenny just seems like he's like us here in 2024. He's like, or 2023. It's like, let's just get to the next year. Okay,
let's get to the end of the year. Yeah, we got a week off coming up around Christmas.
Right. Yeah.
Take that time to recharge and recover.
Yeah. It's too much. Yeah.
Till then.
So we had promos from Ethan Page, Kenny Omega, Danielson, who these days Danielson, especially as a bad guy, or not a bad guy, but as a guy who wants to kick everybody's head off, just sort of like half laughs his way through these promos.
Especially this one.
We have the pairing with the least amount of chemistry maybe ever in wrestling, Andrade and CJ Perry.
What was up with that thing with CJ and Miro on Collision? That was awkward.
I mean, dude, they're I don't know. You
it went from
cleaning.
Yeah, interesting to that.
I mean, I don't know. Like, they already don't have chemistry. They don't have a story figured out. No. My only question is Andrade going to be around long enough for them to actually pay off this Miro Andrade thing?
Well, I mean, that's what Miro said is once this tournament's over, he's going after Andrade. Well, I mean, if Andrade doesn't make it to the finals, then that's before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Miro can get his pound of flesh. If Andrade's contract expires beginning of the year, he can potentially move on. We don't know what he's going to do.
It feels like a 50-50 as to whether or not they're actually going to give us Miro versus Andrade, because Andrade, like, well, the fuck does he care? I don't. I mean, it's a pivot to something that's incredibly one-dimensional and not nearly as interesting. But I don't know that there was ever like a definite direction for that. Anyways, like it's very she shows up, she's got ambitions. And I guess the idea is like now he's a bad guy, so where do you go with the bad guy thing? And that's just misogynist.
Miro is such an interesting character.
He was
a really interesting character.
Yeah, but it's also the problem is, dude. This has always been the problem with the Miro stuff. The idea of feuding with God is that's tricky ground to like cover when it comes to pro wrestling. You can only give the Redeemer promos so much before you actually have to go out and do something where you're running ropes and actually come up with a story. So maybe they were just like, I don't know where to go with this. Now I don't like God anymore. So what do I do? Now I'm just going to be jealous of my wife managing other people. Okay. You know what I mean? Maybe they just didn't come up with an idea for how to conceptualize it.
You'd think there might be a pivot involving or keeping the mystique of what the Miro character was about instead of just making him a misogynist asshole. That's pivot to something else that evokes that same kind of mystique, that sense of almost mythology,
Yeah.
Because that's what it was when it's like, I'm feuding with God. It had like a mythological feel to it.
Yeah, but where do you go with that when the bottom line is just wrestling, And I agree. I don't think it should go here. I'm just saying, like, a possible reason for it going there is, well, what do you do with that? And I thought that there was some really interesting ground they could have covered with him and Hobbs as a team and feuding.
Yeah. Hell, he never finished his story with House of Black. He was going after the pagans.
And that was the other one, too. I know. Like, you could tell there's some cool stuff that I think you could have done, especially with a guy like Malachi Black, who is a very creative person.
Yeah.
Like a solo feud between him and Miro. It all could have been really good. But I don't know. And I get the feeling, man, given that, Malachi has said in that one video where he was talking about his injury a couple months ago, he was like, I don't know why they don't have me in solo feuds. There's one person who can answer that, and it's Tony Khan. And I don't know. Maybe it's like, well, I want to do a thing with Malachi. No, you're not going to do that. Well, I want to do a thing with Hobbs. You're not going to do that. All right, well, I guess I'm just going to do a thing with whoever CJ's with, and the only logical, course of action there is I'm a misogynist who'd prefer his wife to be at home. I don't know. That's just me speculating.
I don't know. It's a disappointing turn of events, though.
Yeah, it is.
Let's jump into it. Show opened up with Eddie Kingston taking on Claudio Castagnoli. Really good match here. Eddie tries to start fast, but Claudio just dominates the early portion of this, hits him with the neutralizer early. Eddie would have little bits where he'd try to make a comeback, hope spots, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Claudio would squash him. Eventually, Eddie turns the tables, starts hitting a bunch of machine gun chops, looking for a pile driver. Claudio blocks that. Eddie hits some knees, but then Claudio again catches it, hits a suplex, gets a 2 there, locks on a crossface. Looks for a Ricola bomb, but Eddie escapes that. Looks for a back fist. Claudio ducks, hits an uppercut. Eddie kicks out of that. So they're trading shots here. Eddie catches Claudio with a half and half, just eats an uppercut and responds with a back fist. Covers, gets a 2. Justin Roberts announces there's only 3 minutes left in the match, and commentary this whole time is like, Eddie has to win this. If he gets a draw, he might stay alive, but in the tournament, but he needs a win.
Mm-hmm.
So Eddie's looking for a power bomb. Claudio blocks that. Eddie hits another back fist, looks for the power bomb again. Claudio reverses that into a roll up, and then Eddie kicks out right into a roll up of his own to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun match.
Yeah, no, it was really great stuff. After that, we had a Mox promo. Yeah, people acting all week like we're supposed to be scared of Roosh. He's a lot of bark. They've been barking at me my entire life, but it always turns out they don't have much bite. Was it a hard match? Hell yeah, it was. Next week against Swerve will be a hard match too, but this is the Continental Classic, baby. It's supposed to be hard. Swerve's got a lot of buzz. Buzz is cheap, though. Being at the top of this sport and staying there is another thing entirely, and it's very costly. It's right about now is the time you learn it's a price you're not willing to pay. Will you take me out? What will be next week? Swerve and Mox are the ghosts and demons that chase me to the ring. It's going to be a long night, so I suggest you pack a lunch. It's just, I love all that shit from Mox. I really do, man. It's like a movie. I don't know what movie character is he, but it's great. I don't know what he is.
Yeah,
what director usually has characters like this? All week I was scared of Rush. He's a lot of bark.
Like Samoa Joe feels like a character from a Tarantino movie.
Correct. Absolutely. It's a bit more like, I don't know. Doesn't it feel like more Brando, like back at like a like Streetcar Named Desire kind of stuff?
Maybe. on the waterfront, that kind of era.
On the waterfront, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Brando back then didn't have that kind of gruffness to his voice.
No, he didn't. But it's that same sort of tortured guy, that like.
Yeah, with Brando was always simmering, subtext, like more the subtext, where Mox is front and center.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I don't know.
You can see Mox.
I see the analogy there.
Mox is one of the 12 Angry Men.
Maybe. See, Fudgy says Mox is a Scorsese character. To a degree, I could see that, but I was trying to think of.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's a bit like earthier, a bit more like. I don't know,
exactly.
Maybe
Mox's closest analogy is Todd Parker from Boogie Nights.
All right. After that, we had a Hook interview. Renee asked, hey, what's up with you and Wheeler? And then Yuta steps in. Renee, how about he tell you with what's going on? Hook, you're a paper champion, an amateur. Renee, you shouldn't be wasting time with guys like this when you could be interviewing honorable champs like myself. And then Hook had a really good retort. He says, yeah, real honorable champ. You kick Shibata in the balls. And then Yuta said, I pinned Shibata in the middle of the ring to become a record-setting 3-time pure champion. I can do it under pure rules, but I can do it under your rules, too. I can make your life as long as I want, but let's do it under FTW rules. And Hooks is like, all right, bet. Yep. So wait, I don't get it. Is this going to be for the pure championship, but under FTW rules, or FTW?
Fuck if I know, man.
What is this match?
What
is this match?
All right, Mr. Pie says Mox could be in a Sam Peckinpah movie. I could see that.
Oh, that's good. Peckinpah, what a good reference.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Mox in Wild Bunch.
Yeah, right.
Then we got Willow Nightingale taking on Mercedes Martinez. This match was really good.
I'd like to see Mox in a Cronenberg flick.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
Like he blades and another Mox comes out.
Exactly. You got it exactly right,
But the Mox Fly comes out,
Yeah. I want to see Mox in Videodrome,
There we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was a really good match between Willow and Mercedes. Hard-hitting stuff. One point, Mercedes just hitting a bunch of suplexes on Willow, a couple of Saito suplex and an exploder. And then she hits, like, something between a Razor's Edge and Lance Archer's finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then covers Willow, and then Willow instead reverses that to a roll-up of her own to get the win afterwards. Mercedes and Diamante attack Willow. Diamante gets like this little ladder from under the ring, puts it in there, and I think she gets a lead pipe too. And then Chris Statlander's music hits. So, of course, Mercedes and Diamante are focused on the ramp, waiting for her to make her way to the ring. Instead, she comes in from behind and chases them off because she's got a fistful of chain.
She's got a fistful of chain, yeah.
Here's another director for Mox. I could see him in like a Sergio Leone Western.
I was just thinking that because somebody here in chat mentioned Clint Eastwood. I could see that. Yeah. Like one of the supporting characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. After that, we had a 2.0 interview. Renee says, how's it feel to be competing tonight in your hometown of Montreal? And then Hager interrupts. He's like, oh, man, let's talk about Danhausen putting my hat down his pants.
This must be Rampage stuff. I have no idea what he's talking about.
They're like, they got to fill in some of these gaps on the big shows. Because Rampage, I don't watch that, but hella shit happens there, apparently. Because like Anna Jay, I was like, why is she hovering behind Saraya? Are they together? Apparently. He's like, when I think of Montreal, I think of the greats, and tonight we're adding 2 names to that list. Daddy Magic and Cool H. And Parker says, Renee, you know how many times we sat in those very stands and dreamed of being in a ring here? Tonight's the night that it happens in front of our fans, our family, and our friends. And then Saraya, Ruby, and Anna Jay walk up. Renee leaves. Saraya starts arguing with Daddy Magic while Parker is spitting some game to Ruby. 2.0 leave. Saraya says, oh, Ruby, you're going to leave me just like Tony did. And next week, you got to prove yourself by taking on Anna Jay, who's hovering near Saraya.
Yeah. Then we get a Swerve promo. He says, I don't feel pain when it comes to me chasing my goals, when it comes to shutting everybody up and proving people wrong. This is 9 points. I'm the leader of this classic, but let's not stop there. I'm the leader of this whole damn company. Whether it's in the ring, at pay-per-view, whether it's me getting interviewed on TMZ, or I'm on the field in Jacksonville talking to the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, I run the industry, so save all this footage, please. Stock all this up. You're going to run this all back when the leader is on top of AEW as the world champ. But first, starts with the Continental Classic. Mox, next in Dallas, Texas. I can't wait. You call yourself the ace. I'm hungry. I'm feasting. You say you drink blood and crush bones and do all this violent stuff. I do too. I'll see you in Texas. Whose house?
Swerve's house.
Swerve's house.
Yeah.
Swerve's house.
After that, we had Wardlow versus Willie Mack. How do you going into this match? How did you think it was going to end, Larson?
Well, of course, a couple power bombs and ref stoppage. Of course,
it was a couple power bombs and a ref stoppage. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, I'm a fan of Wardlow's hat hair. Like even when he's not rocking the devil,
he's like, why bother?
Right, exactly. Yeah,
why bother?
Like, my
People
hair
already know I'm one of the devil's minions. Why bother hiding it anymore?
After that, we had FTR versus House of Black video package. No, but your friend's not here to help you anymore. He's on Smackdown last night.
Yeah, he was really rubbing in their noses that Phil's elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do? Cry to your podcast, FTR bald?
Oh yeah, you stopped doing it.
You stopped doing it because you finally got your way.
Join House of Black, and we'll start a podcast together.
Yes, House of Black with FTR bald, and it's just you, none of us. Yeah. After that, we had Kenneth Omega, Sleepy Kenny Omega versus Ethan Page. Good match, though. This is good stuff.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I feel like Kenny Omega just sort of, 2023 was kind of the year where he sort of ran himself into the ground, though, right? Like, man, like he had some killer matches, but he just seems exhausted at this point.
He seems beat up, man.
He really does.
He's had a career of physical matches with a lot of insane spots.
Mm-hmm.
That catches up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he took that year off basically from all the surgeries, recuperating from his title reign.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But he's still really athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the same spring in his step that he used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That stuff just catches up to you. There's no way around it, really.
Yeah.
And I always go back, and I know this is in the peak of when he was doing the championship collector, and he was super hurt on Impact when he and the Good Brothers were supposed to run into the ring to attack somebody,
mm-hmm.
and he could barely walk out there.
Yeah,
like he was limping. I know he had a hernia, he had a bad knee, but just seeing him and that like limping to that degree,
mm-hmm.
like it sticks in my head. You don't want to see somebody whose work you really respect hopefully not have to deal with that long term after he's finished wrestling.
Yeah, I know.
So if he's taking it easy at this point in his career to save his body so he can actually have a healthy, enjoyable, fulfilling life after he's done wrestling,
yeah,
I get it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I'm sure his body is beat to shit.
Ethan Page was in phenomenal shape.
Oh, he looks great. Yeah,
he's in great shape. So I guess he's got a match coming up at Ring of Honor against
Tony Nese.
Tony Nese. That'll be a good match. I understand you do this match here because it's like Canada match. But he also took the L against Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Like you're building up to this match. Like, I don't know. Because he's probably going to beat Tony Nese, I'd imagine.
I would imagine, yeah.
I don't watch Ring of Honor. I just look at Tony Nese
imagine.
and I'm like, well, he's not going to beat Ethan Page, right?
No. Yeah, I know. And like before this match, they replayed Jericho getting laid out by Big Bill and Ricky Starks after Full Gear because I guess Jericho's taking time off. And then Bill attacked Kenny after he won here.
Yeah.
But like a win by Kenny, I mean, he's not really involved in a whole lot right now.
No, he's not. Yeah, I know.
Because who knows when Jericho's coming back? It could be another month before Jericho comes back before they add that tag title match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so, yeah, I know. It was a good match and it's a good showcase for Ethan Page. It's a good match for him to show what he could do. But yeah, like who really gained much from it?
This is terrible. Michael Papa here in YouTube chat says, I need a Kenny Omega Hell in a Cell match before his body leaves us. No, he doesn't need that. No. We don't need that.
If Kenny Omega wants to start wrestling like Zack Sabre Jr. and just do all technical wrestling holds.
Oh, dude, I'm on board.
Do it.
He'd probably be hella good at that too.
Yeah, he would be.
Yeah, man.
He's got some MMA training.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny does.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Patrick Sparks, B-Man here in Twitch chat says, I think Jericho comes back on Wednesday. Is Jericho going to be there for Winter is Coming?
Vacation over.
He could take a little bit longer time.
So the finish of this, Ethan Page looking for an Ego's Edge. Kenny escapes that. He's looking for a One-Winged Angel. Page escapes that. Rolls up Kenny, gets a 2. Page hits him with a boot. Kenny responds with a pair of V-triggers and a One-Winged Angel to get the win. As mentioned, he's walking up the ramp. He's celebrating up the ramp. Yay, I won. Big Bill hits him with a huge boot.
Big boot.
And then Ethan Page comes up the ramp, checks on Kenny, and kind of runs Big Bill off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After that, we had this CJ Perry Miro stuff, and Lexi asked if her and Andrade feel any pressure tonight. She says, if you look at his resume, he was born to do this. He's a multi-time singles and tag champ and trios champ. He's won gold in 5 different weight classes in 4 different countries. He flies higher than any cruiserweight, hits harder than any heavyweight. He's got all the tools to beat Brian tonight in Montreal. Miro says, hey, buddy, I'm your husband. I'm trying to figure out the last time you said so many good things about me. And then Lexi's like, this is awkward. Akko Taco, I'm out of here. And then Miro says, why are you so mad? Because I told you to stay home. I'm the breadwinner. And CJ's like, are you really that delusional? You told me to stay home and cook and clean and listen and denounce me? Make up your mind. Miro says, a man has to get his hands dirty every now and again. When my dad goes fishing, my mom cleans the fish. When my dad kills boars with his bare hands, my mom guts them. When I hunt, you clean. But don't worry, I'm not going to touch your client Andrade in this tournament. But once it's finished, so is he with AEW. He didn't say that last part. He meant him. He's going to finish him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So they have. It's so funny because like I feel I never watched them on like any of the reality shows. But they have like weren't they on one of the reality shows?
Yeah, they were on one of the reality shows.
I'm sure they had great chemistry there.
Yeah,
but like as characters
in WWE,
as characters, they have no chemistry.
Not what they're doing now. No.
Yeah, no, you're right. In WWE, yeah, they had hella chemistry as characters.
I think just because there's such a disconnect from what Miro, at least initially, was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, mystique, mythology, tell this grand story.
Yeah.
And everything she does is very grounded in reality. And there's a way to approach that so it works, but this ain't it.
Yeah. It's weird. She's like not terribly good at playing something that I think is probably, like you said, kind of grounded. But then when she was Lana, damn, she was hella good at that. I don't know. Maybe it just takes time. Maybe it just takes them to get like to a story we're on the same page. But yeah, this is kind of, I don't know. It's not
It's
great.
disappointing. It's a huge step down from what Miro was doing.
Yeah.
And what I feel like they could be doing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then we got Julia Hart Abaddon video package. Definitely a TBS championship match in the future. Then we got Penta and Commander taking on Montreal's own Daddy Magic Cool Hand Ange. They got great reception. Took that L, however.
Took that L. God damn it. You're in your hometown. You're taking the L.
Yeah, Vince move.
Yeah.
Vince move. It was a fun match. In the end, Penta Commander looking for, or hit that assisted fear factor where Commander walks the ropes and does like a shooting star press on it and helps Penta hit that fear factor on Parker. And Commander covers to get the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after that we had a video package. Keith Lee and Shane Taylor hyping up their match.
That was a hell of a suit that Keith Lee had on that sit-down interview segment they used.
It was a nice suit. Very nice suit.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Where's that match happening? Is that
Final Battle?
That's Final Battle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had a recap for the Continental Classic, and then we had Danielson versus Andrade El Idolo. And yeah, it was
really
dude, Danielson. He's just fucking best bout machine. He really is. Like all of his matches are just so fucking good. They're so good.
He knows how to tell like a simple but yet really visceral story.
Yeah. Right. He gets his.
That-
He sucks you into his matches, dude.
He really does. He does. He really does. And he's getting Andrade's gouging his bad eye and wrecking his eye socket. And you're like, oh shit, that's a legit injury. He just came back from.
Yeah.
You know, in a pretty short time span. Gosh, this sucks. You know, you're buying into the story to that degree. He's bleeding all over the place. And at the end, yeah, when Andrade hits him with those double knees to the back, as Danielson's leaning against the turnbuckle, uses his eye socket to turn him over, like gouges him in the eye to flip him over. Yeah. Hits double knees again, and then a hammerlock DD to get the win. Like, there's a couple times where Andrade was like sticking his fingers in Danielson's bad eye. And then as soon as the match is over, medical staff comes in to check on Brian. Andrade's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And then Claudio and Wheeler Yuta run to the ring, and then they get in Andrade's face because he just jacked up their dude. So there's extra heat there for Claudio and Andrade's Continental Classic match whenever that happens.
Yeah. Oh boy, that'll be a good one too. That'll be a good one.
That will be a good one.
Would you like to answer some questions?
Let's do it.
All right. First up. Well, hold on. I want to take a look at something real quick. We got 758 people watching, 280 likes. It's not terrible.
I mean, 280 likes is good.
Yeah, it's
good. Frame it for 50%. We're about 100 short of where we need to be.
Oh, my gosh. 100 short. Wow. It's disappointing. Big ball drop from the audience today. First up, The Blind Mask says, with the season coming up, what do you see Christmas Mousepad being up to and him having a possible AEW debut?
Oh, wow. Christmas Mousepad. I haven't talked about Christmas Mousepad and their adventures with Von Wagner in quite a while.
Hey, Christmas Mousepad. Are you going to go to Stone's for Christmas Eve this year?
Who ate all my cosmic brownies?
Who ate all my... Hey. Who ate all my... You hear they're going to put me in a new Evolution group with Braun Breaker, Randy Orton, and somebody old.
What are you going to do in AEW? Not that.
Not that. You're going to be stuck in Ring of Honor probably.
Who you fight in the final battle? Oh, nobody. This is Vaughn talking shit to Christmas.
You're going to do the job in Ring of Honor against Titus. What was that? Rhett Titus.
Rhett Titus, yeah.
You're going to do the job to Rhett Titus. You're going to work security for Ring of Honor, Christmas Mousepad. That's what you get for farting on my pillow. Give me pink eye. Disgusting, Vaughn.
That's gross. That's
disgusting. John, in Alistair voice, says, John, says, recently showed my girlfriend wrestling. Oh, bad move, pal. And even made characters of ourselves to play through the 2K23 story modes.
Ah.
What really drew her in was Rhea Ripley. Which wrestler do you think Lacey and Larson's wife would be drawn to the most? Oh, Lacey loves Drew McIntyre because she thinks he's sexy.
My wife has been a fan of Finn Balor and Becky Lynch in the past.
Oh, wow. There you go. Yeah. I mean, in Lacey's defense, he is incredibly sexy.
I mean, yeah, Drew is a handsome man.
Drew is a handsome guy.
Zach Sparks here says they actually teased a Danhausen heel turn a Rampage. What other comedy characters should turn heel? We've seen Yano turn heel and still do the comedy stuff, so it's possible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I watched that Danhausen, like the little tease there. It was on Twitter though. That's where I get my Rampage info from. Yeah. Let's see here. Wow. Eastside says, which wrestlers in both WWE and AEW do you feel 2024 is a make or break year for them?
Wait, for who? Sorry.
So what wrestlers in either WWE or AEW do you think 2024 is a make or break year for him? He continues. He says he thinks in AEW, Wardlow is kind of on his last chance to make it as a top guy. Thanks to some of the booking choices made over. He says same for Austin Theory. He says being Grayson Waller's young boy is fine, but I think he could do with an excursion to a different place to sort of rediscover himself. That's actually a really good point. Who's on a make or break?
I think the two names mentioned there, I think Austin Theory and Wardlow are both really good.
You know, we just mentioned this name, and it's not like, okay, he hasn't been anywhere, but it'll be interesting to see where Drew McIntyre is middle of the year. You know, is he going to get that championship from Seth? Or are they going to continue to find interesting things for him to do even if he doesn't win the title? Is he going to stay with the company? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. There's another name.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Damian Priest. Are they really going to follow through on the idea that he can be a main event guy?
Ooh, yeah.
Or are they going to have him try to cash in, fail, and he's going to kind of fall back to the mid card?
I don't know. That's a good one. Good question. Yeah.
We kind of answered that one already. Oh, here, Timor says, on February 16th this year, you guys uploaded a video titled AEW's Broken on the Friendo Club channel. Now that we are approaching the end of the year, what do you think of the state of AEW since that video? Well, since then, of course, we've seen the MJF Adam Cole storyline, and that's been a bright spot for AEW programming. We've seen Swerve really blossom as a character and have a prominent role in the show. We've seen Tony Storm develop and blossom as a new character, get a prominent role in the show. We've seen Christian Cage do the best work of his career. Other than those examples, I don't really feel like much has changed.
Yeah, I agree. I think the central premise of AEW, not like Tony Khan, not really understanding the long-term language of telling pro wrestling stories to suck people in and keep them there and enticing people to stick around week to week. I still think that what we're looking at is closer to WWE 2018, where the performers are really damn good and they know what they're doing. And the ones, I mean, the main difference is because Vince was sort of the end all be all when it came to creative, that really killed a lot of people in WWE. Yeah. And now, like, you know, they've been able to sort of come alive. And in AEW is a little bit different. Tony Khan gives people sort of the opportunities, like in Swerve's case, to really come alive creatively. And so, like, they're more like on their own islands, you know? Yeah. It's like Tony Storm's kind of on Tony Storm Island, where I get the feeling they're just going to sort of feed her person after person, and she just gets to keep on doing these great promos and you know, pop the crowd with her antics. But in terms of creating like a big, like, AEW really should feel like it's one big story that's connected with a bunch of smaller stories, kind of like WWE is now. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, no, they don't want to be, they shouldn't be just WWE. And I'm not talking about they should be a WWE, but there is a language to tell pro wrestling stories where they can be compelling through and through throughout your programming. Yeah. That they just haven't figured out.
Well, we've seen that in AEW before. There's been times where there have been stretches, sometimes small stretches like 2 weeks, sometimes like I think during the Kenny Hangman tag title reign and then their feud thereafter. That was kind of the thread holding the show together, but there was a lot of other stories interconnecting. Mm-hmm. There were stretches where Dynamite felt like anything could happen.
Yeah, right.
You know, it felt like one cohesive organic universe. And now it just kind of feels disjointed with this story's happening here, this story's happening here, this one's happening here. There might be occasional crossover, but not to the extent that there used to be.
Like, you look at the tag title scene right now, you know, it's like, okay, so the Young Bucks had the title shot.
It's a mess.
They lost it to Jericho and Omega. Like,
now Jericho wanted vacation, so he got written off the TV for a while. So Starks and Big Bill have nothing really to do.
Yeah.
In the interim.
Yeah.
Until Jericho comes back.
It's still an inherently broken way of telling stories.
It is.
So, but they have plenty of bright spots with some characters that are being allowed to do some pretty creative stuff.
Yeah, and that's carrying the programming right now.
It really is, yeah. Yeah.
And the Continental Classic has helped because there's focus because of the tournament. And then it's kind of forcing Tony Khan's hand to focus on, all right, what are these stories involving all these characters that we have?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So it's kind of forcing his hand to add a bit of cohesive storytelling to their programming over the next month, pretty much.
Jeez. Real TJP says, has anybody else noticed that Randy Orton went from like 240 to 280? He says, I heard them saying weighing in at 275 and my mouth dropped.
Oh my gosh.
I'm curious what he was billed at before, if it was 240.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if they're saying he gained 35 pounds of muscle, that's kind of fucking insane.
I mean, he looks much larger. I wouldn't suspect it'd be 40 pounds.
That's a lot.
So Wikipedia says 250.
Okay.
But that's his previous build weight. But, you know, they bill your weight, and it's probably maybe within 10 to 20% of what your actual weight is usually.
Yeah, right.
They tend to inflate height and weight a little bit for that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. DJ Hawk here says, who is the better pick to win the Rumble, assuming it'll most likely either be Cody or Punk? It's Cody. Cody wins the Rumble.
I still feel
those
like
two
it's
names
Cody.
is Cody.
Yeah, it's Cody.
I don't think you give Punk the opportunity to finish his story this year. I don't think you do it.
You know, I mean, given that Punk had said in his documentary, I went home, I wrote 14 weeks of script and brought it to Vince, you would think that he would appreciate a long-term story with adversity, and he wouldn't want to be just hot shot to the top spot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he does.
But who does? Maybe he's like, I don't know what I'm going to blow a fuse here. I don't know. He wrote 6 weeks of television. I win the Rumble. You know?
Here, I brought this. I got on my typewriter.
Here you go.
I got on my word processor. Yeah. Would you like to do a Raw preview?
Oh, I forgot to put that in the notes, but certainly, yeah, we could do that.
All right. Oh, stop that.
Let's go to .com
all right.
real quick.
Where's Triple H? Let's bring him in. Here we go. Hello, hi. This is the game. Paul Levesque.
Hi, Triple H. How are you?
How's it going? Oh, let me put on my reading glasses here. Wait, there's no Raw preview. Where's the Raw preview?
Oh, give me one moment, okay?
I'll preview it off the top of my head. First
Very
up,
well.
the main character of Monday Night Raw, Rhea Ripley, goes one-on-one with Maxine Dupree.
Oh, that's good. He did the Dupree.
Maxine Dupree. Dupree. There we go. I got it. Maxine Dupree. Remember when Dad used to do that corny shit?
Yeah. Remember when he had LA Knight as running a model agency?
What a fumble that was. All right, what else is going on Monday Night Raw tonight?
Here, I have in the notes now. Now put on your reading glasses. You can check it out.
All right, let me put on my reading glasses here. All right, first up. Oh, man, the heist of the century, me getting CM Punk out of that pissant company, AEW.
Oh, you relish the opportunity to call AEW a pissant company there.
Because that's a bird that actually got a reaction. Will CM Punk sign with Raw? He's already signed with WWE. Where does it matter where he goes?
No.
I use him on SmackDown, use him on Raw, I used him on NXT. He goes where the game tells him to go. He's got no leverage. Nobody will take him.
No.
Next up, Cody Rhodes is going to face off against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Ooh, that'll be good.
Is he going to get a face full of mist?
Cody should lose that, right?
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We'll find out. Becky Lynch wants to call out Nia Jax. She's the one got her nose broke like 5 years ago. They're still talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre are going to fight. They're going to go one-on-one because
another match?
Don't interrupt. Drew McIntyre never got Jey Uso in a cage. So
he did. He beat him the Raw before.
Yeah, but he didn't really get him in a cage. He was in a cage, but there's a bunch of other people, and then he took a draping DDT.
Well, this isn't a cage match, is it?
No, not a cage match, but it's a metaphorical cage. You just sort of close your eyes and imagine there's chain link around the thing.
Then what happens when they spill out of the ring and fight in the floor?
No, they got to mime like it's a cage. Like, oh, what is this here? They do the thing.
They run the ropes and do this when they
get
where the cage
exactly. Right, it looks stupid as hell. And then let's see here. Maxine Dupree takes on Rhea Ripley in non-title action. Yeah, should we just combine the Alpha Academy and the Diamond Mine?
Yeah.
What should we call it then? The Alpha Mine?
I don't know.
The Diamond Academy?
No, just have Diamond Mine be like a specific workout class in Alpha Academy.
Oh, right. It's like
Diamond
pay a little
Mine
bit extra. And you get to do Zumba with the Diamond Mine
training program, yeah.
Well, you're all about interrupting me today. I don't like it. But you know what? We've developed a rapport during this year. 2023, the year me and you, the Steve weathered, leathery face, always grumpy and tired. I feel it, though. I'm the same way. My face is so leathery.
Yeah, you tired all the time, too?
I'm tired, exhausted all the time. I try to get my 8 hours. Sometimes I only get 7.5 because the dog wants to go out, and I'm like, oh, I got to put you out, dog.
And then you're tired the whole day because of that.
And then I got this little lagoon in my backyard. The dog always wants to drink from it, so I always got to make sure I got to supervise when it's outside.
Exactly.
I'm in the middle of
I hear
writing.
you.
You're right there with me.
I hear you, game.
It could be that you're my new best friend.
Could be.
I think we might be very close friends now.
I feel like it. Yeah.
Me
Who'd have
too.
thunk?
Maybe do you want me to start reviewing the Raw product with you? WWE shows with Triple H, the game, and you.
I mean, I feel like in a way it'd be good for numbers. Be like, oh wow, Triple H reviewing WWE product. That's pretty. That's a good hook to get people.
They'll be like, oh, this guy's an e-drone.
Yeah.
And then I get to review that AEW show and just piss all over it. I'll just piss on it.
Yeah. You'd be
Like what is this crap?
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I don't know. Steve and I got a good thing going here, so I
think so. Plus, you'd interrupt me all the time and just start getting on my nerves. Best just keep it. There's no interrupt.
You said we're best friends.
Don't interrupt. Anyways, we can be best friends as long as you don't interrupt. Anyways,
all right.
That's it for the Raw preview. That's easy to get. Enjoy your Monday. I'm gonna go have a sandwich.
Enjoy your sandwich.
I'm gonna go have a torta.
Tortas are delicious.
He's gone. What is it about torta? Tortas are delicious.
Tortas are delicious. Gosh, there used to be a great torta place by the old Machinima office. It was so good.
You don't live in L.A. anymore, though, man.
Yeah, I know.
And Machinima is a thing of the past.
It is.
Dust to dust. Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hey, if you haven't already, if you enjoyed what you saw, if you like the Triple H call-in, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's get that 12-hour stream. If we get the 198, 891, we're going to do a 12-hour stream.
12-hour stream. Yeah. Uninterrupted 12 hours.
Uninterrupted. Yeah.
Not 6 and 6.
Anyways.
Not 4-hour stream 3 times.
I'm starving. I'm going to grab a sandwich. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Till next time.
Why not a torta, Steve?
I might have a torta. That sounds good.
So good.
Till next time. We'll see you around.
Goodbye.
Where's the end stream button? Here we go. End stream.